Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our council meeting. Will you please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Aaron, would you mind taking the roll, please?
Councilmember Sherburne,
Yes.
Councilmember Pointer,
Here.
Councilmember Dittrich,
Here.
Councilmember Gray,
Here.
Councilmember Schmidt.
Here. Okay, everybody's here. First, I checked with Tim and Aaron. There's no changes to the agenda, correct?
Correct.
All right. Anybody else have any other questions on the agenda? And if not, I move for a motion to approve the agenda in a second.
I moved to accept the agenda.
I'll second that. Any further questions? Marianne?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And Joe?
Yes.
Okay, now we have our public input period. Please come to the podium and state your name and address before making any remarks and proceeding with your comments. Individual remarks are limited to 5 minutes, with the overall public input period limited to 30 minutes. Under Iowa Open Meetings Law, the city council can take no formal action on comments given during the public input period which do not relate to action items on the agenda. Does anybody have anything they'd like to say tonight?
Here's a Wedderburn, 2328 Jefferson Road, Manchester. Just hanging on.
Yeah, there you go.
Respectfully, I would like to address those in the room that still do not understand the lasting impact of our airport. I revisited the January 22nd council meeting in an attempt to better understand all of this negativity. To counter that, I would like to provide the truth and facts with you will find in the handout. And this download is directly from FlightAware, which records flight plans. Many citizens are unaware of the true traffic. Please note that the military usage is not recorded for national security purposes, but in the last couple of months, on the last page, you will see we had some Black Hawk helicopters. One time, I think in May and another time in April, use our facility. This FlightAware report is only proof of a third of the traffic, since the majority of the airport usage does not require using flight planes. In this recording from January 22nd, one of the city council members indicated closing the airport, which was an extreme stance. Their reasoning was based on profitability. My question to you is, what municipal service that the city owns makes a profit? These are not money makers. They're amenities for all of us to use, for all of the citizens to use. While the parks, pool, and library are for citizens, the airport is needed for business and industry. There are income sources from the airport that you may not realize. There are farmland leases, hangar leases, and aviation fuel sales. Not to mention assistance from the FAA to invest 90 cents into the airport when we only need to spend 10 cents of every dollar. This is huge when we consider paying for improvements. Regrettably, these assumptions are based on a handful of voters and collusion by a secretive group. By stating you cannot justify the expansion, I would counter that you cannot justify not to. I have had recent conversations with two major industries stating that their clients and vendors absolutely use the airport. I regret that you are not there to listen to our businesses and industries. We need to appear open for business. These are our employers and retailers. I find it extremely ironic that we have an aviation-based industry employing hundreds of people here, and we are not supporting the airport. As Mr. Schmidt announced at the April 22nd meeting during the public comment, 2 of the newer council members were elected based on being opposed of the airport. While this was probably intended as a reminder, it sure sounded like a threat. I truly hope that the new council members are giving all of this input careful consideration between exaggerated misinformation and the truth. Transparency goes both ways as a public servant. I believe in our country's First Amendment right, as long as we understand that speech is free, but lies you eventually have to pay for. I have served on the airport committee for the past 12 years and have never experienced so much feedback, which leads me to believe that a private group needed to create misinformation and fear to have the attention.
We're to about 30 seconds left.
You cannot lead for long on an agenda of drama and anger. You are now in the public spotlight. Being a leader in this position requires research, asking questions, making decisions for the betterment of our community. Manchester is looking to you to be a visionary leader, but if that is not your strong suit and you're more of a tactical leader, then I urge you to do your homework and respect the big picture in valuing these private and public partnerships and large investments in our future. Why do people plant trees? Why do most people buy a house? These are for the future. You need to look towards the future. The decisions you make today can make or break us for years to come. As an airport committee members expressed in the last city council meeting, we are willing to revisit the plans, which will not include land acquisition. We shared with you the substantial private investment in hangars and the poor condition of the runway. I truly hope that this visit was an eye-opening experience and that you can come to some sort of win-win end result.
Rick, time, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else want to address the council? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to move on to our consent agenda. First item is I need a motion to approve the minutes from the May 28th regular city council meeting and the June 3rd, 2024 committee as a whole meeting. Next before you, I need a motion to adopt resolution 66 approving the bill and the expense report. Next item is I need a motion to approve the liquor license application from Dulce Mangle for Dulce Vita located at 100 East Main Street. A motion to approve the renewal application for aisle retail cigarette permits, and these are for our local convenience stores and grocery stores and retail outlets. I need a motion to approve committee appointments as recommended by Mayor Bankin. Josh Goranson to the Board of Adjustment, 5-year term. Tad Mormon to the Library Board of Trustees, which is a 6-year term. Anita Palmer to the Library Board of Trustees, 6-year term. Diane Hamill, she is renewing her term on the board. This is her last term she can do there. Mike Wessels to the Park and Rec Commission for a 3-year term. Tim Egemo to the Park and Rec Commission for 3 years. Next, I need a motion to approve, proceed with the third consideration and final adoption of ordinance 10. And that's regarding the adult entertainment section, defining and by removing the reference to male and female impersonators. I need a motion to approve July 8th as the night of the Delaware County Fair Parade. And in the past, council and staff members have planned to participate in the parade, so we're going to change our meeting. Is that correct? Is that all we need for that? Yeah, we have 4 p.m. that night, so we can all attend. Okay. Then I need a motion to adopt resolution 67, and that's setting the salaries for our appointed officers and employees of the city of Manchester for the fiscal year beginning July 1st of 2024. I need a motion to approve the following payments to Fur Graham. Their payment as part of the 2024 street improvement project on East Main totaling $21,286.50. And with that, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda in a second, and then we can open it up for comment.
We'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you, Bill. Second? I'll second. Okay, thank you, Linda. All right, it's open for any questions or comments.
I'd like to thank the people who stepped up to join our boards and commissions. I think it's important that the citizens be involved. And I think it's great to see some of these people renewing their membership to these boards and some new people coming on. So it's exciting to see.
The library ones is kind of different from everybody else. It's a 6-year term.
Right.
And
Quite a
so,
commitment.
and yeah, and then they can only do it for 2 consecutive terms, and then they have to wait a term before they can be reappointed. So I'm grateful to Allison for helping me find those people, so.
With the liquor license applications. Is there a new business going in down there or something? I've seen that a couple of times coming through.
Yeah, Dulce's.
Yeah, I've seen her name anyway.
What's the name of the business?
Dulce Vita.
Yeah.
Dolce Vita.
Dolce Vita, it's gonna be a wine bar, and also then she will serve, soups and sandwiches and charcuterie trays and have some breakfast items as well. So her hope is to open August 1st.
Any other questions? Okay, hearing none, Mary Ann. Or excuse me, Bill.
Yes.
I skipped to the wrong one. Linda.
Yes.
Brian.
Yes.
Joe.
Yes.
And Mary Ann.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're gonna move on to the next portion of our meeting, and we're gonna have a public hearing. So it's 5:10, and I'm opening the public hearing on the proposed 5-year lease agreement with Comelec Internet LLC for the space on the city's water towers for internet equipment. Do you want to go ahead and speak to this, Tim?
Yeah, basically, it's a revision to the existing lease we have with them. We are getting 4 free internet connections. We have it set up for the water department, which is where they're sitting on the water tower there. Parks is going to the aquatic center. So we use that for our cameras and our internet and telephone there. The airport, because they don't have great internet service out there with any other provider, and we are able to do that wirelessly. The airport, again, all 4 of these are free. And the 4th one is for, what is this? The fire station. So, believe, fire station and, the water department, those are hardwired with fiber. The other 2 are, radio, wireless. And this will give us a 5-year agreement. They will still pay $300 a month for use of that and provide us with, 4 free connections.
This is a public hearing, so if the public has any questions. Hearing none, I'm going to close the public meeting at 5:12. And before us, we have resolution 68 to approve the communication site lease agreement with Comelec. Do I hear a motion or a second?
I move for approval of resolution 68.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? Mary Ann,
Yes.
Brian?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
And Linda?
Yes.
Okay. Next, it's 5:12, and I'm opening public hearing on the proposed plan specifications and form of contract and estimated costs for the Commerce Port project. You want to speak to that again?
I'm gonna let
You're
Jason.
gonna let Jason do it? Lucky Jason.
Oh, so Commerce Port is the approximately 400-foot long cul-de-sac that is being part of development agreement with Manchester Enterprises to help facilitate development of additional lots that were platted back in, I believe, 2017. The project itself, we're proposing to be a 34-foot wide concrete street cul-de-sac. The cul-de-sac bulb itself will have a 50-foot radius. Our plans at the moment are to have a 6-inch barrier curb for the 34-foot wide section. And then once we get into the cul-de-sac bubble itself, put a 2-inch drive over curb over that entire cul-de-sac to allow for, however, the potential users are going to have driveways and everything going in and out of that particular project. In addition to the street paving, there'll be some drainage, sub-drain improvements included. There'll be an 8-inch water main extension along the west side of the cul-de-sac that will facilitate whatever water the users may need back there. we tie into an existing 12-inch water main on Burrington Road. And then we also have about 286 feet of 8-inch sanitary sewer, which will be a continuation of a line that was put in when we did Norm Potabom's building there. Extend that into the middle of the cul-de-sac with the manhole termination, and then 2 8-inch service lines coming out of that. Typically, commercial users only require 6. Though having an 8, depending on what their ultimate use would be, there's really a very minimal cost increase to use an 8 instead of a 6. Gives them some flexibility depending on what their actual needs and uses are. My estimate, at time of the plans here is just under $375,000 for the project. I'd be looking to go out to the council approval of the plans and specifications, put this on the street to contractors. And take bid on the 27th to be able to have the ability for you to take action on those bids at your July 8th meeting. Yes, that's kind of a very like 20,000 foot level on what the project itself is. And if there's any questions I can answer from anybody on that project.
Where's the cul-de-sac at? Where?
So if you're over on Burrington Road, and so Norm Potabom, there's a little gravel access road right there right now, and that's actually a street right away that was dedicated. And so it's centered on that road going north. Provides access to those lots to the north up there.
It's
Or you go to
5.4.
Yeah.
Brian, if you go to agenda item 5.4, it's the bottom tab, it shows you the entire project.
Okay, any further questions for Jason? Thank you, Jason. Any comments from the public? Okay, hearing none at 5:16, I'm going to close the public hearing, and before us, we have resolution 69, approving and confirming the plan specs and form a contract and estimate of cost for the Commerce Port project. I'd entertain a motion and second.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any further comments or questions? Okay, Joe,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
And Linda?
Yes.
Okay. Next, regular agenda items. Our first one is regarding the Westbrook development incentives. City has been working with Wes Schulte on the development of a 12-plex multifamily building, and I'm gonna let you.
Yeah, and as we talked a little bit and explored this on the committee of the whole meeting last week, we have some agreement with Wes that he's tentatively willing to proceed with a 12-plex, $1.3 million investment. This is based on us looking at a 10-year, 85% tax rebate. Again, the tax rebate is based on taxes paid. We rebate a portion of those taxes. The rebate, we cannot rebate based off of debt service levy ratio. So the city's debt service, the school's debt service, or the county's or Pepple, those things cannot be rebated back. So the true cost is less than the 85%. But we do see a bump in investment in property valuations, and getting 12 new dwelling units in the community is important. The second little aspect of this is the city has an economic development revolving loan. We have $50,000 that we awarded Wes in 2019. He has paid half of that back. What I'm proposing is we reissue that for $25,000. That portion he's paid back, we reissue that for a 10-year, 0% repayment. So he pays it back over the course of 10 years. And so that kind of helps with that stopgap coverage for the loan amount. So that does help with a little bit of equity or liquidity there for him. If the council is willing for me to move, or accepting of me moving forward with the bonding attorney to draft up proper language, because we'll have to do an urban renewal amendment. We will also have to have a development agreement drafted, so the bonding attorneys would have to do that. If this is something council would like to see us proceed forward with, it's not approving the agreement at this time, it's just directing me to move forward.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
A lot of the contractors got the 80-10, and now Wires has changed to the 85-10, and I think the contractors might not be very happy that West is getting them maybe a better, sweeter deal than they have, so. Why the change?
Wes has requested the change, part of the challenge, you know, where Wes is at. The other contractors aren't necessarily going to get the same deal because where he is located, the urban renewal plan, it's classified as slum and blight because it's a floodplain. So therefore, we do not have to use the low to moderate income set aside for a TIF for residential. If we go to another location, that is not part of the slum and blight urban renewal area, not only do we have to take out the debt service levies, we also have to set aside a portion of the low to moderate income funding. And so right now, Delaware County is about 37%. So let's just say it's $100,000 he pays in, you take out the debt service levies, let's call that 12,000. But we have 37% of the remaining $88,000 that has to be set aside then for low to moderate income housing or projects. Therefore, you have much lower quality, quantity that's available. So not every location is the same, and so you can't always give them everything the same.
Okay, and another question, this is an economic development. Grant, whatever, has it ever been offered to anybody else?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, Animal
Health International.
Health International had it, and it originated with. I'm not gonna remember now, but another entity had it, repaid it back. Then when Animal Health was doing an expansion, the council approved, to give the loan to them. It just sits in this, I think it's Fund 160, and it's repaid back into there. And so then it had been repaid, so when Wes was doing his development in 2019, the council approved writing it to him, and now he's paid back half. So that's how we came to the balance.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I personally think it's a fair deal. I know we were all kind of thinking that 80-10, this kind of gives a little spiff for him, at least a little bit better, along with the 25,000 to help kind of do it. I think seeing another 12-plex or possibly 2 going up over there does kind of make the city look a lot nicer on that west side. I mean, otherwise it was pretty low-lying area and blighted, as we had said, so it will help ease some of the real estate problems that we have. Surprising, he's filling those up out there, so I'm gonna go for it.
I would prefer the 80, but I'm gonna say yes, let's go with the 85. I do think we have to just continually build, and this is the way to do it. Then I think we need to do this. We have the 25,000 available. I think it's better to put it into use than have it sitting in our bank account or whatever. It's not like we're gonna make that much interest on it. So, I would prefer to see it out in the public being used by whoever can use it. So I would agree. I think we should go for it.
I would prefer a motion from the council.
Well, I'll make a motion that we go with the 10-year.
Well, just direct the city manager to proceed with.
All right. I direct Tim Vick to proceed, city manager Tim
Do
Vick
his job.
to do his job.
I will second that. Tim, do your job.
Okay, is there any other comments or questions before we move forward?
I just personally, I was hoping that we'd get a little more aggressive with what we offered him, but the fact that we're not giving him a road, no infrastructure, just like we've given all these other developers in town a road and infrastructure, we're not offering it this time for West, because it's not required, and so I figured we would get a little more aggressive, but that's all.
Doesn't give infrastructural, is that right?
It does, yeah, it's been put in. He'll still have to extend water and.
But not in this project.
Right.
I just would like to look at every project as individual projects, not like what has happened with a certain developer in the past.
Well, and also, I think I was asking Tim about this earlier, that it ends up really not being 85 when you look at the stuff. It ends up being like about 72, 73% rather than the 85 after you take out the pebble and the debt service stuff. Okay. Any other comments before I call for a vote? Okay. And, Bill,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Linda,
No,
Brian,
Struggling, I'm gonna say no.
Joe.
Yes.
All right, next we have, 108 Gay Street, request for, proposals, RFPs for the city-owned property at 108 Gay Street. If the council wishes to proceed, the city will accept proposals for acquiring the lot, removing the structure, or rehabilitating the house for residential use. I think we got an opportunity to look at that proposal the other day. They gave that to us. Is there
Yes.
any changes to it or anything? I didn't
Just
see.
some clerical things coming up.
any.
Basically, right now, again, we are accepting the proposals. If the council wishes to proceed, I'm recommending August 1st at 2 o'clock as the date and time for those to be submitted to us. That'll give staff a chance to review them, prepare them for the council at your council meeting on August 12th. And then that gives us time to talk with the city attorney about the best way to do the legal work that's required for disposing of real estate for the city.
Mhm.
In the meantime, council can determine which proposal works best, whether it's demolishing it and turning it over to somebody, whether one of the adjacent property owners or all three of them want to get together and do it, or if someone wants to buy it and retrofit the house and turn it back into a house again that's habitable.
There'll be some decisions that need to get made depending on what their proposal is. If they're gonna rehab it, there'll be some, what are the terms, how long? Because not everything can be, you can't lay out every potential in that
Right.
in the request. So will become, depending if it's demolition or rehab, how we put the strings on it has an effect on how they can finance their purchase.
Correct.
So, you'll be coming back for some other fine tuning.
Okay.
has anybody looked at it yet?
Not that I'm aware.
I did have a phone call today interested in getting the RFP, so I told them once it was approved, I would,
So if everybody's okay with it, I would entertain a motion to approve the RFP.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, Joe,
Yes.
Linda?
Yes.
Brian?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Mary Ann?
Yes.
Okay. Next, before you, I think on your desk tonight, the city staff has talked to River City Paving regarding the resurfacing of East Main Street from Bailey Drive to Tima Street. This would be the second, a 2-inch mill and overlay project to resurface the road, address the roughness of this section of East Main Street, and provide the city with some additional time before the street is needed to be completely rebuilt. You wanna talk about this?
Yeah, so we've all heard the complaints on East Main Street and how rough it is. The last time it was addressed was in 2008. We did a crack and seat project that was part of the shovel-ready project, President Obama at the time put out. We knew we had to address that road. So 2008 to today, we're down about 16 years.
Mhm.
So this really is just kind of a resurface of the last about 10 years, and we'll get reflective cracks through it. We'll have to do maintenance, but the bumps will come back until we actually take out the base and redo the base. But right now, this is an opportunity for us to resurface it. I fully anticipated this price for this project to cost $400,000 to $450,000. That's the reason I was not really excited about moving forward with it. Jason did talk to River City Paving, who's one of the only asphalt contractors that you're gonna get in the area. There tends to be a little bit of handshakes on where they will work, because I can't seem to get competing groups to come in like we can with concrete paving. So they came in, they gave us this quote, which is really good. Apparently they have a plant set up in Independence, and they'd really like to do it this year. I'd like to wait until fiscal year 25 to pay for it. Or 26, excuse me. Aaron and I did sit down, talk our way through it. The price that they submitted is $184,000. Well,
no, 180,000.
180,000, and then with Jason, because there are manhole adjustments and water valve adjustments, we're looking probably at another $9,000 of those adjustments, so we're looking at about 190, Aaron. I think we talked with about 185, so you'll have to recalculate that a little bit.
But, when we looked at it, what I propose is that we, based on what I'm projecting for ending fund balances, we'd use about $100,000 in road use tax. Probably then we'd adjust the local option sales tax to 60,000. And then there's some money that we budget each year in the street improvement fund for crack sealing. That's 30,000 that we've got in the budget for next year for crack sealing. I propose we just use that all for this project. So, and that also includes, we took into account Commerce Court. That is a project coming down the pike too. Making sure we have enough funds to do that, and it still leaves us with, a decent balance in each of those funds. So.
It does eat into our reserves quite a bit, but,
A little.
but it's something we can do.
And that's coming from East Main Street project that's currently being worked on all the way up to,
G&B Bank, basically, Taney Street.
So you think you want to try to do it? They want to try to do it?
They would like to do it in September. I may negotiate that we pay them half this year, half next fiscal year. We'll see what we can do, so that way it's not coming out all at the same time, but
I think we'd be better just to get it taken care of from a financial standpoint.
We'll let you guys
Tracking.
fight about it.
Yeah, we'll discuss that, but
she throws elbows.
yeah. So in fiscal year that starts July 1 is when we're proposing that work be done and paid for.
It'd just be nice not to have to shut down that end of town again, or the detour is over and then they don't have to think about things for a while.
Yeah, because that would start basically when the East Main Street project is done.
But if they got it, they probably wouldn't be more than 2 weeks on it.
2 weeks. It'll take them two weeks to mill it. And then a week to mill, week to do the overlay, and probably a week to adjust fixtures. The water valves and fixtures. So 3 weeks total, but you'll be driving on it in that time. So it's not like we'll have it completely shut off. You can drive on it as they're milling it. And when they put pavement down shortly thereafter, after it cools.
I think the prices are amazing we've been getting on these projects.
Very fortunate. There's a lot of contractors that are hungry right now.
Yeah.
Jason, that Commerce Court, how many people you got tuning on you about it?
Oh, I've had 6 or 8 of the regular contractors that have wanted plans. I said, well, I can't send anything out until council's approved. So I'd imagine we're gonna have very similar numbers on that we had on some of the other projects here recently.
The iron's hot, strike it.
So do you want a motion then tonight if we want to proceed?
Yes.
Is that what you're looking
Can I ask
at?
a question first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything legally we're doing wrong because we're not
No.
going out for other bids? Or, I mean, I think we have to
Yeah, we
consider that. because-
contacted the Iowa League of Cities, because there's a threshold for where we have to get, competitive quotes and all that. That is on new construction. Mickey Shields with the League of Cities felt comfortable with this was because we are just milling and overlaying. We're not doing any utility work with it or anything like that. That it is completely street maintenance and we would be fine.
I just didn't want to do anything that, obviously.
Yep.
And we did try to get more than just this one bid.
No, we just asked for this one bid. The only other firm that is in the area would be Clasers. They don't typically do anything this long,
Okay.
the length of it. We could price something down to LL Pelling, but the reality is they're probably not gonna, they don't cross territories very often.
I just wanted to make sure.
Mhm.
I'm with you.
No, I agree. So.
Legal's better.
Great.
Well, with that then, I will entertain a motion to go ahead and proceed with this. Do we need to award it or just proceed
Yeah, I would award it.
to award this to River City Paving?
I'd approve the quote.
Approve the quote?
Yep.
That's how you want it? Okay, a motion to approve the,
I'll make a motion for the quote.
I'll second.
any other questions or comments? Joe,
Yes.
Mary Ann,
Yes.
Linda,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Bill.
Yes.
Okay, next before us, I need a motion to approve the pay estimate number 2 in the amount of $287,916.69. Pierce Tobin Construction for the Grand Avenue Extension Project.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay. Any questions? Joe,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Brian,
No.
Linda? No. Mary Ann?
Yes.
Okay. Next, I need a motion to approve pay estimate number 3 in the amount of $306,500 $558.10 to Top Grade Excavating for the 2024 East Main Street Improvements Project. Your motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Any other questions? Bill?
Yes.
Linda?
Yep.
Brian?
Stay.
Oh, yeah, okay, Joe
Yes.
and Mary Ann.
Yes.
Thank you, Brian. All right, and next, nuisance property updates and.
Jim has
Sletta.
he had another council meeting, he had talked to them about some contracts. So, we do have a few updates for the council as far as, court dates that are set, they do get some continuations. We have had Mr. Bowers in, he came to our last council meeting, talked about his properties, putting a fence up to hide the junk vehicles behind. He is working on that right now, but he still has to have that completed before July 9th. 105 Grand Street, they're still getting continuation. We haven't gotten anything as far as update. I know there was some work done, but it's not enough. It's not clear. 421 South Madison Street, again, that was continued just today, so we're not sure what's going on there. Tim Hines has been busy with mowing notices. He'll have an update for the council at our first meeting in July as far as the number of nuisance mowings we have done and completed. And then fresh list on where we're at with different properties.
The extra rain's probably making those even more.
It hasn't helped.
Okay. Any questions for Tim on that? All right, hearing none. Next, we have a discussion or information regarding our fireworks ordinance. You want to speak to that?
Again, July 4th is around the corner, and we'll start seeing the fireworks vendors popping up their tents around town. Fireworks are not permitted currently under our ordinance to be discharged inside the city limits without a permit. The only way you can get a permit is through going through our ordinance and having a permit issued by the city council. So the next council meeting is the next time they meet. If you don't have a permit approval for the city council next meeting, you won't have one in time for the July 4th. And you have to have insurance, licensed or certified operator to set them off. So it's not typically your backyard displays unless someone's got some group coming in. Our biggest concern, as a city manager, my concern is we let the fireworks off. We have a lot of areas where houses are close together. If you look at 108 B Street, that's a prime example where there's small lots. Set them off in that neighborhood and all of a sudden you have something catch fire. It's a big area that can have an impact. So I just want to remind the council what the ordinance says. If there are any changes, but if there's anybody that wants to get a permit before they do the display on July 4th, they need to get it into us within the next 10 days.
It's for public information as well, so they know.
Is this put anywhere, Tim? I mean, do we put it on?
We will have it posted on our Facebook page Wednesday, if I can get it tomorrow.
Maybe if we had the voice of radio.
Mhm.
If we had the voice of radio tomorrow morning, he could mention. it.
Well, he will mention it, but not everybody listens to the radio.
I don't know, I thought the guest of the day from the city manager was the best thing on there.
That's what I'm with you.
That's what I keep telling my family, but they don't always agree.
They'll have a podcast.
Aaron shaking her
Isn't something we need to put the paper to.
It would be nice if the paper would
Pick it up.
pick it up and note it.
I just thought I'd mention that.
Maybe there could be a story about all the different towns, what their ordinances are. And just in Delaware County. It's not
In
like
case
just-
you're looking for something to write.
Or just in Manchester, that's fine.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Tim on that? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to the engineering updates. And Jason, did you have anything else that you wanted to add to what you said today so far?
Sure, just update on Grand Avenue. So string line is up. They're planning to trim subgrade tomorrow, and currently the plan is to do all the main line paving on Friday of this week. And then be back early next week to do intersections and immediately follow up with driveway approaches and sidewalks. That being said, Pierce Tobin is probably gonna try to work around their paving to get the rest of the arch pipe in the waterway so we can get those So while Eastern Iowa's here, we can get everything kind of done at the same time. So we're still looking really good to be completed here, well before the 4th of July holiday and fair. So
Okay,
Will it be open for use, but, fair?
it should be, yes.
Okay, I just. With
That's,
your
that's,
time
our-
and stuff.
yeah, so cure time, typically right now, this time of year, if we start getting warmer temperatures, we get maturity is the process by which they do cure, usually within 48 to 72 hours. So that's why they want to pave on Friday, so that, you know, maybe by Monday we'll achieve maturity and they can do the hand pour for the intersection work, which means they have maturity, that means they can drive vehicles on it. So that's kind of so I'd imagine by the end of next week, a bulk, if not all of the concrete work will be complete out there. And then it's just a lot of cleanup.
yeah,
So,
we'll take it.
all right.
All right, thank you, Jason. Sam?
So, got an email from Top Grade late Friday night. Wix Construction is not gonna be on site until next week, Monday, the 17th. So, not like they're on a DOT job that they can't pull off of. Talking with Ben Kramer of Top Grade, I'll keep on them and see if, depending on how things go with them this week, if they can get done and get here sooner, later this week, that'd be great, but it sounds like they're not gonna be in town until next week, Monday. So with that being said, probably won't see concrete going down until late next week. Did have our surveyor crew out there today to set paving hubs. That was what was originally scheduled. We're sticking with that. Did talk to Ben Kramer about that to confirm. So I just wanted to give everybody an update on that. Wick Construction thought they would have about 5 weeks in town to do all the street, the sidewalks, the driveways, to do everything. They thought they'd have about 5 weeks of work. All the utility work is completed, so like I say, you might get some calls, there's not gonna be much action out there at all this week, but all the utility work is done. Like I say, now the next step is just paving, so if anybody has any questions, but.
That's the best part to be left. So. Okay. All right, any questions for Sam?
So next week, midweek, towards the end of the week, maybe, start paving.
Yeah, hopefully they get mowed in Monday, get the paver here, they'll get string lines set up and then get everything trimmed and then start paving. So hopefully by mid to late next week, I would say. Next week, Wednesday at the very earliest, I would say, before they start actually putting concrete down. So the intent is for them to go east to west, do the north half first.
Okay.
And then try to work on some intersection work while they're waiting for cure time and then come back and do the south half. So, like I say, they'll have probably a couple weeks of street work and then after that, then start with some of the sidewalks and drives. And they may be able to do some sidewalks and driveways between time too, but we'll play that out and see how it goes. So we will have another progress meeting probably next week, week after. Follow up with them and see, just kind of talk schedule again.
We'll pray for good weather for the next several weeks. That would help.
Yeah.
Any questions for Sam? Nope. All right,
Thanks.
thank you, Sam. Okay. And Jim is left. Tim?
Really, we just had a great weekend. River Days, I thought was a great success. We had a lot of stuff going on there. We did have one conflict, with River Days and actually the car cruise with the, food truck and the vendor and the car cruise. Car cruise, group, the country cruisers came to me because they had sponsorships, with a couple of food restaurants in town. And they were concerned about a food truck being adjacent to or right next to their, setup. We made it work this time. The concern I have is what direction we go with this, because one of the business owners, what I was told was the business owner had given them a contractor permission to come in, they wanted them to set up in front of their business. Obviously, we want to support our downtown businesses. When we shut down the street to do this type of activity, it has an impact on the businesses in that area. And so, I'm trying to figure out the best way to find a compromise to facilitate the car crews, the businesses that are sponsoring that, make sure they're going out to support those businesses and any other businesses in town that may be impacted because we've shut down a segment of the road. So I will be coming back to the council with some questions on how we can mitigate some potential complaints when it's right at the edge of what the shutdown is, it was easier for me to justify skirting what the closed down area is. If it was a business owner that was saying in the middle of that closed down area, we'd have to say no, it's the council authorized the closure of that location, so that was one of the conflicts we ended up with, but I think it was handled okay. I think all in all, things went okay. It wasn't as big of a deal as someone had made it into, but I want to make sure we get it resolved, so there's not an issue in the future. Other than that, we talked a little bit about the fair, in September, the second meeting in September, the Iowa League of Cities Conference is 18th to the 20th. 20th,
Yeah.
and that is the week before the council meeting. And Aaron and I are planning on attending that meeting on Sioux City. Will be one of the speakers. And then I have, the International City County Managers Association meeting, the national conference in Pittsburgh that I will be attending starting on Sunday after the League of Cities. And so I won't be here for that meeting that night, if we have it that night. Aaron and I are asking if it would be okay to move it to the 5th Monday, which would be September 30th.
There are 5 Mondays in September, so we can push it back to the 30th. We'll bring that back to council approval unless that doesn't work for you.
Checking calendars,
So just to give you a heads up
we'll
on
just
that.
flip them around. Instead of doing it the 4th Monday, we'll do it the 5th Monday. Okay, any other things, Tim?
No,
All right, Aaron?
Just getting ready to go on vacation. I'll be gone next week. Family vacation up north. Yeah, stop. So,
You lucky girl.
it's been since I was 10, but it couldn't fall at a worse time in the fiscal year for me. But my parents were thinking about that years and years ago, so.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. I want to welcome Ben to his first official meeting, yes, and he's been out directing tractors all day, so it's been a fun thing today. Brian?
I don't have none other than I got a call about the vendors and
Linda?
Yes, Strand Park, when you pull off the pavement to go to the park, there are huge potholes there.
Okay.
And the road it goes on, there's huge potholes, get them building.
Yep.
And one more thing, on Thursday night, there was music at the band shell, same time it was going on.
We have
And
that
they
every
switched
year.
at 2 different nights, so.
But we have to talk to the band director over there, but they started having that after we were doing music on the Macoka, and that's just the one that they chose to do. So they have the same, it's gonna be the same thing in July. I talked to Terry Frost, who's in the band there, and I said, okay, well, we had to move ours too because it was the 4th of July,
Sure.
and they did the same thing.
That's what I would ask.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, we were doing music on Macoka before they started doing the band thing, so.
Well, thank you.
There's just lots of stuff going on, there are graduation parties, ball games, there's just, yeah. So,
Okay, I'd ask.
plus we can change the times, maybe that we can maybe coordinate that next year with
Yeah.
that, so.
Okay.
Anyway, Mary Ann? Okay. Joe?
You reached out to Waterloo to get some pointers on their youth council.
Oh, okay.
Working on that, and talking
Mhm.
with Melissa. And then just wanna wish my mom and dad happy anniversary.
Oh. Happy anniversary. Bill?
Nothing, but I'm like Aaron, I'm actually leaving Thursday on vacation, so I'll be gone this Thursday, so yes, I will not make that meeting this Thursday, so. You always gotta go.
Do you need council approval for that?
Again, congratulations to the chamber on a really great river Days event. That was awesome.
Big crowds.
It was
Big
awesome,
crowds.
yeah. And thank you for everybody supporting the city's music on the Maquoketa. Thought Lonesome Road was awesome. And we're looking forward to the next month. So with that, I'll take a motion from Bill, a second from Joe, that we're adjourned, and we are adjourned. Y'all have a great night.